Every live being perceives only a part of the real world, for it only sees structures of the level that corresponds with its own. The universe is vast, unending, and eternal, and its fully reality cannot be comprehended by the human consciousness. The universe is an outer space which contains all that is ever exists. It is endless in its size and extension in time, with variety of the forms and types of the substances, or to be prompt, type of energy that are composing it. The energy is the main and fundamental component of the maxi volume of the universe. This is a special type of a substance that can condense in some conditions and verify in others. It can also concentrate and fully penetrate into other substances. Energy is an unending staircase of transitional conditions of the matter, where it's crude or coarse, material or physical substance at its lower scope, and a prime quality, a spirit, sacred, ecclesiastic condition at its top. During the process of perfecting, the energy is thinning and becoming more refined, delicate, and all-penetrating. The more refined energy is, meaning that it vibrates on the higher frequencies, the more information and power it carries, and it has greater ability to penetrate into other substances. The energy of animation, or spiritualization, is the most powerful and miraculous type of energy. Without it, no individual form that lives is able to feel itself intellectual and alive. Only due to spiritualizing energy, the life form is able to recognize its segregation from others and to become aware of its own identity. The thought and ability to create is an outcome of spiritualizing energy, and without it, no such abilities are possible. This energy is the energy of a most might, for it is able to bend any other energy to its will, and to make serve growth and progress. The energy has existed forever, and physical matter has only appeared for the short time for the special purpose to assist only specific type of energies that develop in the physical form during particular stage of their development. The physical matter is not necessary substance for development of energy. However, the physical matter can serve as a temporary beginning stage for perfection of some individual conditions, such as for souls in 4 hierarchies of our God. The ruler or governor of the physical hierarchy is a superior entity who has a physical body and is perceived as God for all those inside his hierarchy. However, this entity is not our God Creator, who is way above and is in spiritual hierarchy, is in a spiritual form. God has created a soul of a man similar to his own in its structure. But a man's physical form, along with other physical worlds and forms, were created by material or physical systems according to God's plan. In the process of the evolution, human being will also have an opportunity to transform to a spiritual form of existence, but not in some form of highly organized physical substance. Physical form, it's only temporarily. The energy is the primary substance of the world. It exists everywhere and it is in everything, and a physical substance or a matter is derivative from it. The whole universe consists from energies varied by its evolutional level. The energy is able to create sturdy, mighty, and timeless constructions. They are unable to be destroyed and are able to grow and transform with the time. Energy can transform from one level into another, for it is mobile and progressing substance of the universe. Energy has many characteristics and abilities that are not known to a man. The universe, built on the basis of hierarchical principle, with the main goal of a regulation and systematization of everything that exists in it. Hierarchy is the space carcass of invisible spiritual plane, where there are worlds located in a certain order. The present hierarchical structure is very complex and cannot be compared to any geometrical figure known to a man's imagination. Approximately, it can be displayed as the pyramid, which is the best way reflects direction of the evolution, subordination order, and interdependency of the worlds between one another. The whole universe can be portrayed as a huge hierarchy, where the worlds serve as steps in pyramid, going in a direction from bottom up with its peak in absolute. Absolute is the finished product for an evolution of forms in the given development cycle. It contains normative index of standards that spiritualized forms must achieve at corresponding level of its evolutionary cycle. Hierarchical structure is the principle of internal sequence built from the bottom up, in a rising progression of potentials that participate in the unit construction. Gradual transition is achieved by dividing hierarchy into the levels. Each level is a single world. Every world exists in its own system of axes, with own dimension and at its own energy level, and therefore it is built from particular range of the energy. This energy range in its turn consists from sublevel that are interim stages in energy's progression. In hierarchy of the universe, one level serves as hierarchy of a smaller world, and levels of this smaller world serve as sublevels. The first level of maxi-hierarchy can be occupied by many mini-hierarchies with different qualitative focus of evolution and different specialization of forms that are developing in them. Any spiritual form can exist only in the world that corresponds to it by its energy characteristics, which are the might and energy potential. Each hierarchy holds a specific number of worlds and individual in it. Every spiritualized form in the hierarchy eventually grows and becomes the absolute, as well as it's become similar to an absolute by its structure. The transitioning of the last form from underlying hierarchy into the absolute means a completion on one cycle and the beginning of the next. Structural elements of hierarchy, such as its carcass and carcasses of the level worlds, are left to stay at the same place, as they are artificial structures. However, all inner content of the pyramid is transitioning into the next hierarchy at the highest level, and its previous structure gets filled with other creatures that have different absolute and different goals. When opportunity to transition to a higher level comes for private forms which are helping the development of the global volumes, the global world volumes are transitioning at the same time as well. And this is an ending chain of the evolution that takes place at particular times, where each lower volume takes place of a higher volume. Evolution in the universe is infinite and goal-orientated. The goal comes from the above, and it penetrates through all levels of hierarchy, starting from top down, and it is spreading according to the status of the worlds. The goal is passed from superior regulatory or governing authorities only. Every authority passes the goal to a subordinate level, and adjusted might in accordance with concepts and capabilities of the lower level. At the same time, the governing authority shares goal horizontally with its own level. This type of distribution, vertically and horizontally, leads to entire hierarchy working together toward the same goal but in different ways. The principle of hierarchical governing is created based on the principle of a goal distribution mechanism from the top to the bottom. Any rule or a law that arises from the governing system is followed by all forms of the pyramid. Compliance with rules and laws happens with an increasing trend of top-down movement, meaning that there is mandatory submission of many potentials to a higher potential. Top level is planning a development for a lower plane by drawing plan of a progress for it. Programs are developed based on the goal of particular level, and the amount of energy sent up down and received down up is taken into consideration. The hierarchy is based on the principle that any superior world relies on underlying world and cannot exist without its fundamental base. In such way, the hierarchy is constructing any form according to its law and regularity, and it automatically places it into a corresponding place that will support this form's growth and development from infinitely small form into infinitely large. On the Earth, man must pass through 100 levels of Earth's hierarchy. By the year of 2000, modern humanity has reached only 40th level of Earth's hierarchy. And in order to reach the present position of God, one also needs to improve at the next 100 levels of his divine hierarchy. The universe is multidimensional structure that exists in the infinite numbers of measurements and time continuums. It is a multi-leveled and multi-layered construction that resembles onion or a volume that is arranged similarly to the nesting doll. The universe is multidimensional and multi-layered. One spatial volume is placed into another according to amplification degree and their developmental levels, which are moving from inside volumes to outside volumes. Although world volumes are located one inside another, they all belong to different dimensions and therefore are invisible to one another. All volumes are interdependent. The larger volume always serves as a world for a smaller volume, and small volume serves as a part of a large one. This interdependence spreads out inward and outward infinitely. Each external volume is the habitat for particles within itself, and it supports their life and directs their evolution. For this purpose, the might of outer volume must overpower the might of its biggest inner form. Absolutely all volumes must be proportionate between one another, with strict and specific numerical values in their interdependence, might, size, and all other measurements. The multidimensional universe has many dimensions within its levels. The dimension is the direction in which the development, expansion, and growth can go. All that exists in the main volume inside one level has additions in the form of many parallel worlds serving as additional shells of a more subtle plan. The age of the space is determined based on the amount of its dimensions. Having more dimensions indicates greater age and more complex configuration. Physical universes are islands of a coarse matter in the ocean of the universe. Our God has 4 physical universes and many spiritual ones that are located within his hierarchy. Our universe is located in a common world volume of a physical energy. It is a macrocosm that is made from different levels of a physical substance. This island, which is made of a physical matter, is in the volume of a larger energy matter from a certain developmental level. All physical dimensions are divided by 4 squares, universes, with 4 of them belonging to our God. All 4 are different from one another by their energy type, quality of a substance, inner content, speed of a progress, and functioning. Every universe has its own hierarchy that connects all life forms together and divides them according to their developmental levels. Because qualitative composition of each universe is different, their life forms can only exist and function in their own universe and not in others. All material physical worlds are not eternal, and they are only needed for God temporarily. They are needed for specific functions of the universe, serving as grounds for souls harvesting, and they are also supporting God in collecting qualities that He needs. Our world is far away from a maxi potential of the universe, and it's surrounded by many protective dimensions that are guarding it from a huge, mighty potential of a maxi volume. The development of spiritualized forms is built on the struggle of opposites, progress and regress, growing outward and inward, cultivation of positive and negative direction, or plus and minus evolution, is the qualitative opposition connected with work-related plus or minus energies that belong to all spiritualized forms. Where there is a minus, there is also plus, and vice versa. However, the opposites, as the part of a whole, are moving in the same direction. As such, God and devil are parts of one common world volume, where God is plus part and devil is minus part. This holistic world volume, where our God and devil are its components, is going in same direction, outward, toward maxi volume, which means that God and devil have same goal, but they are developing in different qualities. God and devil are following same goal by different paths. The presence of opposites must be monitored so that one of them cannot destroy the other. Therefore, every volume has its own governing part of segment, entities that are superior for this given plane of existence, which are residing at above, in a different dimension, but they are in permanent control of everything that occurs in the world that is beneath them. The governing part is divided by two sections, in which one is in charge of a positive plus aspect of a progress, and other is responsible for the aspect of a minus. Each of these sections specializes in its own laws, agendas, and in saving and measuring their own experience. All three parts, plus, minus, and governing, that are located in the same word volume are becoming its parts and functioning mechanisms that deliver adjustments and support the evolution of this given volume at each stage of its progression. Trinity belongs to all being in the universe, so any individual form, process, condition, and substance are replicating the triune structure of the mutual volume of the universe. Everything that exists in the universe is built based on the principles of Trinity. This is the main principle of the evolution. Therefore, every essence, absolute, God, devil, and human, in order to progress, has to be built in a similar fashion. Creations that do not follow this principle can only exist temporarily and without ability to progress eternally. Key principles of form creation in our universe are: construction of any spiritualized form is similar to the basis of construction of the volume of the universe. Hierarchical order or regularity is at the heart of every development and every structure. Volumes of different levels that compound the form are placed one in another based on their ranking order. Every form is created according to a principle of a trinity. Evolution in the universe proceeds through life spiritualized forms only, which are progressing during very long time, so they are growing into maxi volumes eventually that are not comprehensible by a human's mind. All that is spiritualized is open to a reason, and these qualities are derivatives from one another. Every evolution or growth steadily proceeds from a simple to a complex. Therefore, a primitive mind slowly develops into a higher mind, and then into a supermind and above, without an end. The extent of the universe is a special structure of a superior consciousness. It creates, by a power of thought, everything that a human does by his hands and feet. The universe has a complex build that contains many structures and worlds, which are all, when combined, are producing a great order and a chance of eternal existence.